This episode of Around the Layout is brought to you by Spring Creek Model Trains. Family owned for nearly 25 years, Spring Creek is your destination for model trains. Check out springcreekmodeltrains.com for a wide variety of offerings from today's top manufacturers and exclusive products found nowhere else. Whether in Deschler, Nebraska, or at a train show near you, stop in and say, wow. To see where they'll be next, visit their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com. If you're looking to bring more realism to your layout industries, look no further than TullyModels.com, the home of Southern Tier Grain Modeler Supply and Steel Mill Modeler Supply. With models to fit steam, transition, and diesel eras, Kevin Tully has you covered with all of the components you'll need to take your grain and steel mills to the next level. Check out the entire catalog at TullyModels.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Around the Layout, where model railroaders come to tell their story. My name is Ray Arnott. So glad you could join us. It's time once again to find out what's happening in model railroading, and nobody better to do that with than the walking encyclopedia of model railroading, the editor of Model Railroad News, Tony Cook.
It's a very thick volume that I need to probably thin that encyclopedia down. I should be out walking the dog.
Yeah, well, join the club, my friend. And we're heading towards the wrong time of year, it seems.
My goodness, yeah.
Yeah, just way too many goodies around. And Halloween was brutal. And then, the kids come home and, the dad tax comes out, especially on Smarties, because I'm big on
really?
Smarties. Yeah, I don't know, just Smarties or... I don't know. It's just, it's that time of year, but hey, New Year's resolution will be coming here pretty soon. And I'm sure
it'll catch up. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it will last a month or two and then we'll talk about trying to renew that again. But we are here to talk about the upcoming holidays. Big time of year for a lot of folks that are looking to get stuff. They're heading down towards the basements or out towards the sheds or wherever you're keeping your layout and working on it. And of course, that requires stuff. And we've got two folks with us that supply a lot of this great stuff that we work with. That's Mike and Jeff Zucker from Spring Creek Model Trains. Gentlemen, good to see you both.
Hey, guys. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah.
These are the people to talk to as far as this time of year. I think it's so challenging, whether you're in the hobby and you've got friends that it's like, well, I know that he models this or that, but he does this scale or his stuff is older, newer. Spring Creek has got everything as far as that kind of gift giving stuff goes. And if you don't know anything on model trains, I mean, right up front, I mean, a gift certificate is a great thing. And Spring Creek is one of those places that it's like, well, but I don't know. Oh, they do. Yeah. That if they buy train stuff, I mean, from books to, the different scales, scenery things, just regular tools and accessories. I mean, you're safe with a Spring Creek gift certificate too. So
absolutely.
Yep. We get a lot of those kind of phone calls, right? Of, hey, my brother's into this, right? Or my friend's son is into this. And well, we can, if we know who they are, we can talk them through kind of what they buy or what they're interested in. If they physically want to get something, we just had a mom in earlier this week that bought a gift card, for her friend's son, right, for his upcoming Christmas present or birthday present. I don't remember what it was, but, and he's collecting Lionel 3-rail stuff. Right. That's what he started in. And so, yeah, there's all kinds of those options. And, you kind of get to be an investigator on your questions.
Yes.
When you're talking to somebody like, okay, let's start. Where are we at? What are we talking? How big is the locomotive? Is it this, is it about an inch tall or is it a couple inches tall, right? To just get to the scale. And so sometimes that's kind of fun.
And that's not easy for a lot of folks because they feel like, you don't know. And a lot of stores and things, it's like, well, they don't have time or the person can't answer this. But you guys are great for that. And it shows too. I've seen you guys, I've seen your dad, I've seen your mom, explaining to people or people are asking a question about things. And it might even be something they picked up or, at a swap table there at that show and saying, well, what is this and what do I need? I want to change the couplers or I want to do this or that. And I mean, you guys basically take a hobby shop with you to
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, we try to be.
And that's one of the things our dad has always talked to us about, right? And I think him and mom have done a great job out there on the road, is just, just helping people out, right? And they've seen that need on the road of, early on, we didn't take KDs, right?
Right.
We didn't take wheels. We didn't take track nails and joiners, but, they paid attention to what was out there and they saw that, yeah, this is lacking, right? We're going to towns that don't have a hobby store. So we bring that with us. Sometimes it's a lot of work getting it loaded correctly, right? And getting it out.
That's true.
But then you get those questions of, here's this old River Rossi passenger car, and how do I get a KD coupler in it, right? And,
Right.
And we're not always, I'm not going to say that none of us are like the end all be all on how to do all these things, but we can at least get you down the right path to get started. And pretty sure this is going to work. You might have to try a little bit, but get a person going that way, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you guys really become, kind of the resource, especially for folks that don't even know what the question is, right? I mean, if you know that it's a River Rossi and you want to put KD couplers, you might be able to Google it. But when you don't even know what it is, unless you've got the personal cell phone number of the aforementioned walking encyclopedia of model railroading, you've got to figure out, and you got to have a resource to even ask what the question is. And that's what's great. When you're able to go to a hobby shop like yours or go to a show and ask the question. I did it with the ATLP 2022 N scale car. I wanted to change couplers, and I went to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Mike was there, and I brought the car over, and Mike was able to answer a whole bunch of questions for me that I didn't even know I didn't even know where to start. And that's really kind of what's great still about having model railroad shops, to be able to go and ask those types of questions.
Yeah. I appreciate that, right? Because you can probably talk to this. We have that young family out of York, right, that has come down.
Quite a few times.
Their son is huge into trains. Mom and dad don't know anything, but we've helped them out.
We just help them along with whatever he's looking for. And the folks are getting way more into it now and are starting to understand and looking for other things too for him.
So they're bringing up like, hey, we bought this at the whatever such and such train show and got it for $5, and he's running the wheels off of it. What do I need to do to fix the wheels, right? And that's kind of fun because we all used to be there, right? I think I've heard you talk about it, Ray, in the past. Like, we all started on that 4x8 sheet of plywood, right? And we ran a layout, and Jeff and I had a figure 8 layout that we ran to death, expanded a couple times, and I can remember the AHM boxes that we used to get out and run some cars, right? And run some of those life likes or whatever,
right? Just whatever we could get.
Yeah, it's certainly great to be part of somebody else's model railroad journey, and even more so to help a parent who's trying to help their kid along, and it's all foreign to them, like you mentioned, the folks out of York. Again, even around the holiday times when you don't even know what to get somebody. Talk about a little bit how you guide somebody that doesn't even know as to what to get somebody. Like, what are some of the generic things that they could be looking towards?
Well, for me, we get a lot where the kid has graduated from the Thomas wooden train stuff. And they're kind of like, well, what's the next step? And I said, the next step is probably just a starter set. Bachman does a real good job of making some nice starter sets that aren't overly detailed. I said, that the thing I always tell every parent, I said, the thing to remember is that these aren't toys, that they're models. And they're going to have extra details. They're going to be fragile. I said, but you have to be okay with them breaking it.
Yeah. Because
if you make it a bad experience for them, because they broke something and it happens. It's just an accident. Sometimes it's too far, but if they're careful and something happened, okay, you broke it. We'll figure it out. We'll either replace it or we'll get it fixed.
Right.
And those first few items are probably going to be pretty well beat up by the time they're ready to really start the modeling experience. And we try to stock up and have have sets. Really, the Bachmann is really kind of it.
Those are the main.
We do
ones,
those
so.
because we like their track system. It's simple to put together, so the kid can be taught how to put it together real easily, and not have to worry about it breaking or needing dad or something like that.
We like it from the snap. Your son has the train line,
yeah,
which is the old lifelike track, and it doesn't snap. Yeah, power lock, right?
And that's okay, but he has difficulty putting it together where the Bachmann just kind of slides together and snaps in place.
We typically always describe to the parents, right? This is the starter set. This is their starter track. You're going to have some issues with this track, but don't get frustrated because this track is the lower quality. Like when you're ready or when the kid's ready, come back in and we have the next level Bachmann, the nickel silver rail that doesn't come in their sets that you can get to where it's easier to maintain and everything.
Yeah.
But that's still a great, because you can add on, right? I mean, the black
road bed,
steel rail, black base, right? And the gray base all matched together. And
right. You can mix and match and it doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah. And then we sell a lot of the train lines for the same point of what Jeff's talking about. So we stock, train line cars and train line locomotives, for that same reason, for easy starter locomotives that will take a beating, but will run, right?
Yeah. Good runners. That's not saying we're perfect, but we try to always have, make sure everything that we get is a quality running locomotive, because there's no point in it if it can't make a circle. If you can't at least get a circle going and let the kid's imagination run wild, it doesn't help. And I tell everybody, my son's 8, so I'm experiencing all this right along with a lot of new parents right now with Joe, and he's taken off with it, just loving it. And at first I was getting frustrated because he was breaking my stuff, and I had to tell myself, no, I need to be okay.
Yeah.
And realize that he's going to become more engrossed into the hobby by letting him use his imagination than if I was to try to, no, you only do it this way kind of thing.
Right. Have your experience as a kid, right? So,
and I encourage that with the parents. For somebody who's coming in, for somebody who's a modeler, either they have gotten an idea from their friend or relative, or they're kind of like, well, I don't know. And that's when they really kind of go, I don't know. If you can figure out that's when you kind of steer towards a gift certificate.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that.
Because it's like, then they get to choose, and you don't have to worry about it. Well, they already had this one or that one. And we work with those people who get a duplicate. It's like, hey, we'll take it back and trade for something else.
Yeah, if you get the same road number for a Christmas present, bring it back kind of deal, right? So when we make that work, like Jeff's saying, we do a lot, like friends and families of a guy that a modeler that's a customer of ours, they'll call up and say, hey, Joe here wants, let me buy something off of Joe's layaway, or let me buy something off of Joe's wish list that you have there at the store. And, we've done that just this past weekend, maybe 2 weekends ago. We had a daughter stop through the store. She was driving through and she knew her dad had stuff sitting here, and her and her son, or her and her brother, had called and figured out payment, and they stopped through.
That's awesome.
Stuff for the dad, coming into Christmas. So and so if they let us know, right, then we can play it off with the dad that, hey, that stuff hasn't shown up yet or whatever, right?
It's like setting up a registry, right? A Spring Creek model trains. It's kind of perfect. And we can be such particular people. I mean, we want exactly what we want, and to be able to communicate that and get it to the right people who know how to guide our friends and family to get us the right things. That's definitely helpful.
Jeff, you bring up a good point, because I get asked this at times. I think most of the train stuff, like in HO, is suggested ages 14 and up. And you mentioned your son is 8. And a lot of people say, well, I feel like, my kid would be ready for this, but I see this. How hard a rule is that? I mean, and I usually say, I think if you're careful with it, it depends on your kid and what you're buying. I mean, I don't think I'd hand an 8-year-old kid a Moloko or Tangent car and expect the coupler cut levers and everything to come back. But again, I think at that age, the Bachmann, the Walthers train line, the Atlas Train Man, Athearn Ready to Roll, I think a lot of that kind of stuff, yeah, I think it's applicable.
Believe it or not, I have actually handed him my tangent cold car train, and he handled it. I've lost some grab irons, but
that's
for
after
me,
years.
I tell a lot of folks when they say 14 and up, it's probably more about being overly cautious about the choking hazards that are around the cars, and then also that to tell the parent or person, it's like, well, it broke all up. Well, it's your, you let an 8-year-old, bouncing on the
super
couch,
detailed, yeah.
kind of thing, whatever you want to say. Yeah, it's not going to hold up for that. But I use it to one, I've had so many folks who've had kids that just never took, never interested in them, and the dads are winding down. They're disappointed. There's nowhere to go with the collection or whatever. And, I feel like I didn't want to be that dad. And so I didn't let it be. I wanted him to, he was already into trains. There was he was watching train videos and playing as Thomas. So when it came to, you want to run a train, the sparkle's there, and it's like, okay, let's do it.
But that's when you're at a show though too. Like I've been over to your house when he's running his train line set,
yeah,
and he's just a normal 8-year-old running, the train line set where it's, nose to tail running in this circle,
right.
just like we all did, right? And he's, he's got a spur over here, and you might see a car derailed on that or over there, and he's just blowing and
but it's
going.
fun, yeah.
And and I think that's the thing about being, when you go under that 14 is buy the right product for one.
Yeah.
So that, if stuff falls off, it's okay. And that's what we always, like Jeff was saying earlier, that's what we're trying to tell them with the Bachmans and the train lines and the roundhouses or whatever. It's like, this is going to happen. Be okay. If the handrails fall off, fine. He can still run the train. It's a good runner.
Right.
And that's the big thing. And then like he or she, can just have a blast of whatever their creativity is, right? Of what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So. And then if the dad's into trains and he gets the opportunity to go run on a module like what Jeff's talking about, then you can step up that game, right? And that's what Joe gets to do. And, Joe's super into it. And he's out there running that tangent train, right up there next to all the 40-year-olds trying to run, figure out how to turn it on, right? That would be me. So
yeah.
Well, let me say this. Breaking stuff off is not exclusive to kids because I break stuff up all the time, right? I've got cars missing stirrups and handrails and everything else. And in turn, I think that's where you start to learn to model too. Because then now it's repairing. Now you got to fix this. Now you got to put the stirrup back on. And then that's how you can teach the kids not only, the delicacy and trying to handle things the right way, but when this stuff does happen, now you're a modeler and you can get to the modeling, which is glue them back on and fix the things that are breaking. And then that builds a whole new skill set. So that's definitely good. And definitely, Emma, you probably heard me say this before on the podcast. I've been to train shows and I've seen the kids that are totally lit up about the hobby, completely enthusiastic, and they go over to a table and they buy some $5 locomotive that hasn't run in 15 years.
Yeah.
And you just cringe because you see them going home. Nothing happens with this locomotive and the hobby becomes a frustration to them. And it just breaks my heart because it's like they were there. We had them right there where we want them. Yeah. And instead of that $5 one, if we could have got them to step up just a little bit more and got a little bit, they'd be into a phenomenal hobby that would give them a whole bunch of skill sets for their life. And we missed that opportunity. So it's great that you guys have that mindset. Let's get them something that they're going to be able to run, enjoy, and be able to build upon, which is the way we want to have them go in the hobby.
And again, I think it's challenging when you just go to like a swap meet or that, because as you say, there'll be a cardboard tray with locomotives and they'll be like $10. And it's like, well, if I went to some show that had golf clubs, it's like, I have no idea what I bought, but it looks like it looks like a golf club and I think I can hit a ball with it. And somebody go, oh man, that's, no. So I think the thing about going to, a legit dealer like Spring Creek, the quality level in general across the board now, I mean, you got to look to find something that doesn't have metal wheels Everything has knuckle couplers. A lot of stuff has metal knuckle couplers. So the robustness of those starter sets is not what it was, even 10, 20 years ago with plastic wheels and other things. And I think that's a big, it's tough when you don't know, because again, you're just standing there looking. It's like, well, that one's $100 and some, but this is only 10 and it's a Santa Fe and he wants a Santa Fe. I'll get him that. And it's like, oh, well, yeah. And over the years I've had, I don't know how many times I've mailed off like a Walther's train line or Bachman or an Athearn locomotive to somebody that wrote me saying, we bought this and how, like, we need parts. Like, there are no parts. I can't, there is no fix for that, but here's this and buy stuff like this going forward and you'll be much happier with it.
I think that was a good point there at the end, is like, you try to educate them, right, of what to look for when they're at that next swap meet or at the current swap meet. I think we both probably have stories of that where we've talked to a parent or even a young kid that's getting into it of, okay, yes, we get the price difference, but these are the things you need to look for, right? And when you're out and about, make sure you're paying attention to XYZ, like the knuckle couplers. Pay attention to that when you're out there, because man, you can buy the old horn hook on a car, for that $5 price, and then you're in for it, right?
Right. Yeah. Now that $5 car now costs you 10 to 15 with all the parts you put on just to make it work. And then there's no guarantee it's going to not break.
Yeah. I love
something that you can't replace or fix.
Right. And I love Ray's point there about becoming that modeler.
Yeah.
Because I use that family out of York quite a bit, because like you said, the mom and dad aren't big into trains. They're there to support their son that's huge into it, right? But you can see the dad learning. I mean, he's asked us questions. Is like, okay, here's how I do this or that. And we show him a couple of things, and then he's back the next time and he's done all that, right? And he's on to the next thing. And then, but you can see like the son's like there at least paying attention. I don't know how hands-on he is yet, but he's at least paying attention, seeing what's happening, right? And, that helps grow all that and seeing that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So.
One of the other things too, outside of trains themselves, we talked about gift certificates, but a lot of times people want something more tangible, something they can wrap. And the thing I always think of, especially with you all, when I walk in the door, immediately to my left is T-shirt. All the shirts.
Yep.
Somebody's shirt size and know that they love Union Pacific or they love Rock Island or whatever. You all have got shirts. And don't you have you've got some of the insulated mugs and things like that with like, there's
we've done a lot of that. Yeah. We got coffee cups right now. We've done some, we'll be bringing back the tumblers here in 2025. We'll have some more tumblers coming together. We're making up some exclusive ones for our 25th anniversary. So it'll be something a little different there. But yeah, we got t-shirts, we got mugs.
So it's a fun thing. You can box that up.
So we try to have different things like that just to, give that gift option, right? Or just option to a fan of Spring Creek, right? So, or a good customer of Spring Creek.
Yeah.
Well, I know Tony was looking fashionable in that red shirt back in October. So you definitely want to get yourself a red Spring Creek model train shirt.
I can't remember how long ago I got that. I'm surprised I still fit in it.
But
speaking of what we were talking earlier.
There you go. What shows have you guys got coming up as far as anything right before Christmas? I think, isn't there a big show in Collinsville that used to be between Thanksgiving and Christmas if people are going to be...
Yeah, they moved that one from used to be the weekend of Thanksgiving, but they have moved it to the first weekend in December this year. So we'll be in Collinsville, Illinois for that show. And then after that one, we'll be in Longmont, Colorado for a train show. So that'd be northern suburbs of Denver there.
Yeah. That's our last two shows on the road. Yeah. But then we're hosting an event here on December 7th. We call it the Deschler Express. It started last year in 2023 with our local Chamber of Commerce. They're doing a craft fair. There's a cookie walk. There's pancake feed. There's like soup and stuff and
Santa Claus.
That. Yeah, Santa Claus shows up. There's reindeer in town. But then we kind of tied on to that here at Spring Creek and open our store and do, I guess, exclusive in-store sale only day. So we promoted out here for about a month ahead of time, given the opportunity for a guy that wants to drive a couple hours to come in and take advantage of the in-store sales. We try to do it that way just as an option to get people here to town, a different time of year than just the summer events that we do. So, but that's we're going into our second year of that. So,
Yep.
Last year we did a scenic clinic that same day. Learned how to do some plaster work. Mike Ellsbury here that works with us did that.
Excellent.
He's we're still working schedule, see if we can't make that happen this time. So I've got my fingers crossed and it still might come together where we can do a scenic clinic or something. So, but Jeff and I spend a lot of time that a lot of guys come in with digital questions. So we spend a lot of time on that, usually on those events.
Trying to help guys out that way. No, we're no experts, but we know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah. Right. So we can at least get started down the right path. And so, but yeah, that's kind of fun. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Dashler Express. So
yeah.
So
that'll be a good event.
Yep. Be here for that. So, and then we're working some Black Friday.
Oh yeah. We'll have some Black Friday events that'll be online for the weekend of Thanksgiving. We're going to be closed the whole time. So not open Friday or Saturday, but we'll be running online promotions. We'll have some items that are on sale. We'll have probably a free shipping promo going on. And then we'll probably do something with our newsletter folks, give them a little something for following us on our newsletter for that weekend as well. So all kinds of good stuff coming.
Yep, trying to get into the Christmas, right? And we've loaded up on a couple, I guess several, probably. Dad and Jeff might tell me I've bought too many Christmas train sets this year.
There is a bunch. There is a bunch.
We're loaded up on Christmas train sets this year and got all the other freight train sets to go.
Oh yeah.
So we're sitting good there, trying to, like we talked earlier, that grandma and grandpa or the new kid that's coming in wants something. So,
and I think train set is still, the best as far as if they don't have anything and you don't know the scale, whatever, you just basically have a kid and an age, and you say, hey, I think they have this and they'd have that much room. The starter train sets are just excellent from everybody across the board. And I know you've got some little kid stuff, don't you? You do carry some of it's over there by like the vehicles and all the old kits that I poke around in. I see the one wall's got some of like the wooden trains.
It's in the
so there are some
section area, Tony. That's why.
That's why okay. I get over there, but I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we do carry wooden. I'm not going to call it Thomas, but it's the stuff all equivalent to Thomas. So we
with
got all
the wood track and that.
Yeah,
because that's immensely popular for the little bitty kids.
We even got some of the stuff for infants, like the train letter building stuff or the block building trains, and we carry puzzles. We even have some. Nothing big, I guess. My family's addicted to board games, so we get a couple board games that are train related every once in a while that are sitting in the shop. So, but.
And that's again, I forgot about the puzzles. The puzzles is another fun. That's you got something to wrap. It's neat to see, and you could put a gift certificate with it or something if you didn't know what to get. So to get on the email list and the e-blast stuff, all that is through the website. Correct? There's a link at the bottom of the main page?
That's correct. It'll say want to hear from us more, and you sign up and hit the checkbox, and then you're signed up for our newsletter.
Yeah, so we send a newsletter out. It's probably 3-4 times a month. It goes out. It varies depending on what the manufacturers and the timing of the manufacturer announcements. We might be a week or two later than when their announcement went out, and then our newsletter will go out of, hey, this was announced this month, pre-order it with us. And, you can get on our pre-order list. And, most manufacturers were able to offer a pre-order discount to customers. So,
we'll provide all of those links on our website, aroundthelayout.com/132. So what else is really hot and moving right now at Spring Creek Model Trains?
I think the big thing right now for the N scale side is the scale trains tunnel motors. They've been a big hit. I know personally I'm pretty excited about them. They've been, that leveled up the game there. I know Tony's been twisting me to get some more. I've only started with one so far, so I
one.
I know.
Oh, come on! You can work some overtime here at the holidays.
I should, right? I should. So maybe it's on that wish list or that get buying list that I have.
There you go. I have to call and say, all right, buy Mike another tunnel motor, put it on my credit card.
That one I've been pretty excited about. That's here in the store. I know I got really excited. We've just, I think, recently sold out on was the new Rapido center beam flat, or not the center beams, the bulkheads from Scale Train.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
I guess that was the other one I was pretty excited about.
Yeah.
We still have some of those, right? That have just showed up or not. I mean, that's been a couple months ago, but those have been working pretty well for us.
Yeah.
The center beams from Rapido.
Yeah.
Those are working well. I like those as an SP modeler. But
HO wise, I would say one of the things that kind of shocks us a little bit, but it sold really well, but it kind of has died off. But it's been the Tangent Rock Island cabooses.
Oh yeah.
We actually still have Rock Islands available. So he's been sold out for quite a while, but we're sitting on them.
Yeah, those are pretty awesome.
But they're very nice cabooses.
Wow.
And probably the most recent thing we got would be the Wathers Greenbrier 110-ton flat cars.
Ah, yeah.
Those have been immensely popular once guys are starting to figure out, oh, yeah, these are for heavy loads. They can military equipment is very common on them, not tanks, but trucks and all those other things. So we've been selling those really, really well.
I think the waffle side box cars.
Yeah,
people were pretty excited about them when Moloko and those showed up. I think that.
Well, and then your exclusives. I mean, if you're looking for something different and unique, Ray, they've got 2 new HO exclusives that InterMountain made for them.
Yeah, the Rock Rack and the Rock Island coil car,
and the racks.
The racks are the newest in HO scale here. We got an HO and N scale. Sales have been going very well once we get the word out there to everybody that, hey, they're here. And then the coil cars was a good surprise for me. They were really, really well. Still have some left, but they're getting low. So if you want them, you better get them. They'd be a good gift because you can't get them anywhere else.
Exactly.
So there's not a ton of them out there. That's the thing. It's not like a few thousand were made. There's only a couple hundred. So
yeah, they're pretty cool. So
excellent. Well, as I say at the top of the show, whether in Deschler, Nebraska, or at a train show near you, stop in and say wow. And hopefully a lot of folks will be able to make it out on December 7th to stop in and say wow as you guys are doing that event. And then, of course, your Black Friday deals or any day on the calendar that you guys are open is a great time to stop in and see you guys. Absolutely. So I want to thank you both for stopping by and sharing what's going on as we head towards the exciting holiday season, and looking forward to seeing you guys at a train show soon.
That's right.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Tony, always great catching up with Mike and Jeff Zucker from Spring Creek Model Trains.
They are always so busy with so many shows and everything they do and running the shop and families and all that. But yeah, that's a great family run hobby shop business that shows up in everyone's neighborhood from time to time with the train shows, as well as being a brick and mortar out in the middle of the U.S.
Yeah, that's the really cool thing. I mean, they're in Deschler, Nebraska. It's not necessarily the easiest. It's not on the major intersections of life, but they bring it to you. I've seen them Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, obviously Amherst, and they just cover the map, like you said, from coast to coast.
They really do, yeah.
And so they bring it to you. So it's really cool. And I'm always impressed seeing their road show too.
Oh,
and just the logistics that go into it, and the product they move.
Nobody basically brings a hobby shop to a train show, and they basically do. Yeah.
Well, speaking of all that stuff that fills up hobby shops, tell us what's happening in model railroading.
Well, we do have a couple of things, and we'll start off with the Spring Creek folks. SpringCreekModelTrains.com. I think they might have mentioned it in our talk, but InterMountain produced the Blue Rock bi-level auto carrier in HO scale, and then also a Black Rock Evans steel coil car. That's the new version with the die-cast metal loads. So it gets a little bit more weight. And there's, I believe, at least as we're talking now, a half dozen road numbers each on the auto carrier and the steel coil car, both those in late era The Rock image. And they're available only from InterMountain or from Spring Creek Trains, produced by InterMountain. So springcreekmodeltrains.com is the place to go. And you'll find right on their website, as you look across the menu tabs, there's an exclusives that you can order them direct from there and see the other exclusives that they have. A new company, well, I think it's a new company, Iconic Replicas. I think they're based in Florida, and they have multiple scales. These are vehicles. And, as train guys always get lured into vehicles no matter what. And I think what hit my radar was the HO scale. They're 73, 74. One is a fire truck, and the other is that Dodge, EMT paramedic truck for Los Angeles is Squad 51.
Yeah.
Which, if you're of a certain age, you'll remember NBC's TV show Emergency with the two guys that were with Squad 51. And that show ran for years in the 70s. And those two vehicles are from Iconic Replicas. And they have buses as well. And I saw some Greyhound buses. There's a Canadian Go Transit. They also have some 1/160th, so in-scale releases as well. The website is iconic-replicas.com. I saw that Walthers was carrying them as well, because I know sometimes on vehicles and that kind of things, hobby shops can be a little challenged too. It's like, well, I don't know where to get those or how to get that stuff. And I think I did see Walthers was a distributor for them as well. So that's kind of a fun thing. Always neat to see a new outlet for vehicles.
Oh, and of course, anybody that was in the fire service, volunteer or paid, there's always seemingly a big love affair with the old show Emergency. So these will definitely be a hit amongst those folks. The old Ward LaFrance. I always thought the Ward LaFrance almost looked like a flight tower. It had those tilted windshields. It had the look, and had the look down windshield. Very unique looking engine. Yeah. And of course, the famous Dodge Squad that. Oh boy, I can't even remember their names now, but I do remember D5W TKO, which it was seemingly every injury that anybody got on, was always called in D5W TKO and transport as soon as possible. So very, very cool to see that. And I'm just thinking of guys like Devin Jackson, who I'm sure is going to buy all three of these and have them either on his layout or on a shelf.
Exactly.
Good firemen that are big fans of the show. So very cool stuff.
And those vehicle releases like that, especially, boy, you've got to strike while you may have to do a little bit of looking, because boy, I find those kind of things, because you're looking at multiple, groups of people wanting them. Those being the emergency vehicles, you're going to have people that collect TV and movie stuff. You got vehicle collectors, you got model train people. So vehicles at times can be a real challenge to get your hands on. Speaking of interesting and kind of exclusive stuff, we've talked the N-Scale Enthusiast group before, and you can find them at nscaleenthusiast.com. They've got that wonderful magazine that they put out bi-monthly, and they have an annual convention, and it's coming up in Kansas City in June, the 24th through the 29th in 2025. Will be the N-Scale Enthusiast Show. And what's in their the November-December 2024 edition, they've got high-cube boxcars with KCS Bell livery, and then they've got a couple of different Western Pacific with the big Feather River Route logo in both the orange and the silver. The KCS ones in Bell, when I first looked at them, any of those kind of things like that, you're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. But then you think, boy, KCS, for being such a plain road for so many years with red boxcars with reporting marks before anybody really did that as a norm, as they got into that kind of Bell Heritage stuff, there were the center flow hoppers, coil cars. They weren't afraid to put that scheme on things. So it's a what if that could almost been, I think, maybe. And those are 8-door variant high cubes. I think that's the Blueford Shops tooling, which is a wonderful model. And those are exclusives. They've been announced just recently. I don't think they're available just yet, but you can go to inscaleenthusiast.com to find out more about those.
Excellent. And I was at their show this last time. I mentioned being in Bethlehem and now off to Kansas City. So that'd be neat to have it in your neck of the woods.
And it was, I think I remember going to that show almost 10 years ago, and it'll be in the same spot again. I think it's the Overland Park Convention Center over on the Kansas side. And it's a great facility, easy parking and all that. So be marking your calendar for the InScale Enthusiast Show, June 24th through the 29th of 2025.
Awesome.
Those cool Skybox freight cars. That's looks like it kind of almost looks like a coil car hood that's been extended down and is sitting on like about a 50, 60 foot flat car. They were originally released in HO and they were in scale. I think they were Hubert's was the brand name, and they've been out of production for years. It's one I get emails about from time to time. When you see them at shows or they pop up online and like eBay for auctions, they go for scary money, and it's because they've been hard to find for a long time. InterMountain Railway will be bringing those back. We talked with Chris Palomares not long ago, and This is one of the projects that they've got. They will do both HO and in-scale. The Skybox were aerospace loads. I believe there's like 8 different road names, and the flat cars and the hoods like differ a bit. Like there's a big sky blue Great Northern flat car with maybe like a Boeing hood on it, and there's a red Santa Fe flat car that has like a Lockheed hood. So there's some really neat like combination things to collect on those as well, both HO and N. And this is not the same model that was sold by Hubert's. The tooling, I think, is based on that, but they will be doing separate ladders, separate grab irons on the Skybox like container hood. So it'll be a more detailed car, but certainly a lot of modelers will be happy to see those come back, because that has been for kind of a contemporary collector's item. I'm trying to think those Hubert's cars are at least now about 20 or so years old. So, I mean, it's not vintage HO really, but it's getting there. And that is kind of one of those, wow, I wish I could find those you hear, guys talk about. And so nice to see those coming back. And again, in both HO and N.
And they've got the NASA rocket booster version of it too, for closeted space nerds like myself. That's really cool to see as an offering. Cool.
They really look neat. Again, they'd be a fun group to just collect those like 3 or 4 different Skybox hoods that just have a really cool graphic to them. So check those out, intermountain-railway.com, and you can look in both reservations or new releases in HO and N for those. Broadway Limited Imports, which, boy, are they always busy and going to town on things. They've got a couple of great announcements for TrainFest, which I can't tell you about, but be watching for their announcements from TrainFest in a few weeks. The one thing I did want to mention, that group of HO scale GP35s, the next group they have coming out, they've added a Wheeling in Lake Erie in 3 road names, 2 of which will be exclusive to, I believe he's based in Ohio, Chase's Train Garage. And Wheeling in Lake Erie has a group of, or they did, I don't know if they still have them all on the roster, they're ex-Southern high hood GP35s, dynamic brakes, the AAR Type B trucks, neat looking units, bell on the short hood roof. Of course, they adopted that neat flying Rio Grande paint scheme in black with kind of the action orange. That in 2 road numbers is a regular release from Broadway Limited in HO scale for that Jeep 35 and Paragon 4, as well as Sound Ready standard DC Stealth. And then the Chase's Train Garage releases, there'll be 1 number each, because I think that's all there is for these paint schemes. Chase's Train Garage will have HO Broadway Limited Jeep 35s in the Ohio Centennial special paint for the Wheeling in Lake Erie had. And then it's called kind of a Kodachrome, but when you talk Kodachrome, everybody always thinks SPSF, but it's that same look. It's a red unit with a yellow band that runs down the side. It almost looks like that N&W skunk paint scheme that they toyed with in the late 70s is applied to that Jeep 35. Again, red with yellow will be an exclusive number, Wheeling in Lake Erie HO Jeep 35, again from Chase's Train Garage, and you can Google that. He's on Facebook as well, and the website is chasestraingarage.com.
Another one of these smaller guys, never heard, but look, and then doing exclusive stuff with Broadway Limited.
Isn't that cool?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
And the other two Broadway things I wanted to mention, the Curtis Koch that does their, if you're not on the Broadway Flyer email list, get on there and get that, because they always tip secret information. And they showed CAD drawings for the CB&Q E5s, which were those super neat, slanted nose, almost like an E6, but had fluting on the side, A's and B's, early E units that EMD built, only on Burlington and its subsidiary roads, Fort Worth and Denver and Colorado and Southern had them. And Broadway is talking about doing those in HO scale, which will be an eye-poppingly cool model. Also, the Conductors Club, I think when we had Curtis on, they had just been introducing the Conductors Club. The 2025 announcements are out for exclusive locomotive models that you can only get if you're a Broadway Limited Imports Conductors Club member. And they're doing the cool CPKC first repaints of the CP and KCS GEVO units. Will be done in both HO and N. And then I think there's also some of maybe the CSX Heritage units. And again, those are only available. They won't be regular release items from Broadway. You can only get those if you're a Conductors Club member, and there's other discounts and benefits from that as well. You can find out. There's a club tab on the BroadwayLimited.com website. So check that out too. Those CPKCs should be very hot.
Absolutely.
Coil cars and reefers from Rapido trains and new stuff. These are both Greenbrier prototypes. They're coming to HO. The coil car is that awesome. It looks like a bread box, if you've seen one of them, that it has the big, tall, square single hood, and it is a modern steel coil car, and that'll be an all-new tooling release from Rapido. Rapido will also be doing Greenbriers, those modern, I think, I've called them French fry cars at times, because I think way back in the day it was Lamb Weston and some Simplot on those big white box insulated cars. Those modern reefers, we have models of them. The Trinity 82-foot is a beautiful scale trains model, but there is also a Greenbrier car that is the same 82-foot, and there are about 7,800 cubic foot between the two of them. That's where they have like the Thermo King or Carrier, like HVAC unit is attached to the end on a little porch of the car. Rapido will do the first ever HO model of the Greenbrier prototype, and those are coming from Rapido. I think that we've not hit the dates as far as deadlines for either, and there's no official announced date on either that HO Greenbrier coil car or the reefer, but both those are exciting projects for contemporary models to check out. And did you get a mystery box? I almost bought a mystery box from Rapido last Christmas, and then I didn't. And then I saw all the guys doing unboxing and pictures of the cool stuff they got, like the chocolate bar that was specially made by Rapido. And it's like, oh man, I wish I got one. Rapido is doing their Christmas mystery box again. And you usually, I forget, I think there maybe is HO and N, or it's US Canadian, or both. Like you can pick a couple of kind of vague, this is what I'd like to have. And you get a box of neat stuff that's a limited deal. You can find it. I think it's on Rapido Trains homepage right now, or rapidotrains.com/Christmas mystery box will get you there as well. But if you're looking for something kind of fun and different and value-wise, I saw so many guys stack all this stuff up and say, I forget, like the box is like $200 or something. And they say, well, I got like $600 worth of stuff or something crazy. And they're doing those again this year, which is a fun thing. Rapido is such a fun company for all the stuff that they do. But
oh yeah,
check those out and watch online for Facebook or YouTube with folks unboxing and see the surprise stuff they got. Finally, I'll plug, you mentioned you just got it in the mail. The December Model Railroad News has the all-new tooled Athearn Roundhouse F7 Union Pacific is on the cover of December's Model Railroad News for 2024. And these are out. I saw a stack of them at Fred's Train Shop here in the Kansas City area that even had some of the AB sets. Kansas City Southern, Amtrak, Union Pacific, all sorts of neat road names for this newly tooled starter F7. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was the legendary liveries on the HO. I think they moved it up to the Genesis line because of some lighting and additional features added to it. That beautiful big General Electric U50, which was a UPSP prototype only, has got a group of legendary liveries out. And I just got my two this week. I got the Santa Fe bookends paint scheme and the red and white General Electric demonstrator. And wow, they're very cool.
Awesome stuff.
So that and more. There's always more train stuff coming out.
Yeah, it's amazing. You just keep coming up with this stuff, and it just keeps coming at you.
It just keeps rolling. It keeps about the time I finish up an issue of Model Railroad News and think I got everything in there, I suddenly will look back at my inbox and go, "Oh, I had this, and this that I wanted to get in." So yeah, always more stuff.
And we'll share all the links to this on our website, again, aroundthelayout.com/132. Where can we find more of Tony Cook?
Where can you find more of Tony Cook? Well, shop.whiteriverproductions.com. And you can find links to the magazines that I produce for them. And that's Model Railroad News each month and Diesel Era quarterly. And then the HO Collector Annual is available. It's a soft cover 116-page book that's loaded with all sorts of vintage HO. It would be a good Christmas gift if you have an HO train enthusiast. And there is a new White River 2025 calendar out as well.
Books and calendars and all that is always in style and always good gifts to give. And appreciate you coming by and giving us some more Christmas ideas through what's happening in model railroading. Catch you again next month.
Thanks, Ray. Always appreciate getting a visit.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Around the Layout. Learn more about today's episode, check out past shows, and much more on our website, aroundthelayout.com. Show your support by becoming an operating crew member at aroundthelayout.com/crew. Follow us on social media, aroundthelayout.com/social. And send us your feedback, aroundthelayout@gmail.com. Thanks for hanging out with us around the layout.